Story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News at 7. I am Ebulomo Adekunle. Following the recent crisis in Ekiti State and the killing of a former boss of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Omolafe Aderiye, the state government has imposed a dusk-to-dawn curfew throughout the state. Rashid has more.
The atmosphere in Ekiti State is tense as a result of the recent crisis rocking the state. Youth alleged to be political thugs have invaded courts twice and destroyed court property and obstructed proceedings. A former boss of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Omolafe Aderiye, was also killed. He is believed to be a close associate of a top politician in the state. Addressing the state in a broadcast, Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi condemned the attack on the judiciary and directed the Attorney General to liaise with the State Chief Judge of the possibility of transferring all cases out of the state.
It is understandable that not a few stakeholders have expressed concern about what the development portends for Ekiti State. The brazen contempt of our hallowed law courts and the use of violence and intimidation to obstruct the course of justice is a clear invitation to anarchy and brigandage on the scale and texture that once characterized Ekiti State some years ago. Ekiti, are those years upon us again?
He further cautioned politicians to control their followers and supporters so as to avoid chaos.
The course of justice can only be delayed, but never truncated. The independence of the judiciary is an inviolable tenet of any democracy. Accordingly, I have this morning directed the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in the state to issue a legal advisory to the Chief Judge of the state and all the parties to the existing cases in the State High Court and the Ekiti State Governorship Elections Petitions Tribunal on the desirability of seeking an alternative venue for the hearing of these cases outside Ekiti State. The state can no longer afford to witness the bizarre spectacle of the beating up of a judicial officer and wanton intimidation of lawyers and court personnel.
The governor thus imposed a dusk-to-dawn curfew on the state.
Ekiti, in order to forestall further descent into anarchy in our state, I think all hands must now be on deck. And as the Chief Security Officer of the state, I have suspended my thank you tour, which I'm undertaking as part of my transitioning out formalities in the state. Also, I have taken the decision to institute a dusk-to-dawn curfew in the state immediately. Accordingly, there will be no movement between the hours of 7 p.m. and 7 a.m., and security agencies have been advised to effect this curfew maximally.
The rise in violence is coming just days before the transfer of power to the next government in the state. It is hoped that a curfew will help curb the violence. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
Meanwhile, reactions have started to trail the development in Ekiti, where the state government has imposed a dusk-to-dawn curfew to checkmate recurrent violence by hoodlums. A guest analyst on our flagship program, Core Digest, Lekon Alabi, in his contributions, lambasts the police for turning a blind eye to the issue. Alabi, who is a Lagos-based lawyer, wants that the role played by an institution like the police, which is saddled with the enforcement of order, could spell doom, especially in an election year, if not checked.
With me, there are some people that are above the law. With me, that these youth are being responded to stimuli. That some people are pulling them somewhere that nobody can arrest you. With me, that we have a partition security apparatus. which means that because a sitting governor maybe is a member of opposition party, that is the reason why that the police have not been able to do their job. That what they are just going to do is to make sure that the judges are safe, and we just accord them to enter their vehicles, and to, after judges, then the lawyers will now be accorded some courtesy and walk them to their vehicle. If judges are seeing this kind of thing, are we sure that the judge is going to decide the case according to the evidence before them and according to the law of the land? The court has been intimidated, and no single, we see it in the scene. Nobody has been arrested, and we see them carrying cordials. We are seeing them carry cordials, intimidating both judges and the lawyers. They are not witnesses, and the matter is not ripe for hearing.
And in neighboring Osun State, the Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Osogbo has received the response of Governor of Osun and winner of the August 9 governorship poll, Rauf Aregbesola. The PDP governorship candidate at the poll, Iyolo Mishore, is challenging the victory of Aregbesola at the tribunal. Rashid, however, reports that Aregbesola, through his counsels, is confident of emerging victorious at the tribunal.
The die is cast and the stage also set for the Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Osogbo to start full hearing on the petition filed by Iyolo Mishore challenging the victory of Rauf Aregbesola at the August 9 governorship poll. The lead counsel for Aregbesola, Kunle Adegoke, says the legal team is ready to match the petition of Mishore word for word and page to page.
But today we are filing for Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. There were allegations by the opposition to the effect that Ogbeni was avoiding service and he didn't want the tribunal to be able to hear their petition. But we have looked at the petition. There's no tiger in it. There's no lion in it. And Ogbeni is more than capable to defend the allegations therein. So we are here today filing the defense, and at the end of the day, we have amassed about 600 witnesses to counter their allegations who are already willing and able to defend the petition appropriately.
Principal witnesses like the Secretary to the Osun State Government and Commissioner for Women Affairs expressed optimism and confidence in the response of Aregbesola, adding that the election was free and fair.
And I was told the number of people that were accredited and they were counted after we've queued up, and the number of the people on the queue tallied with the one they've accredited in the voter. We did not engage in any malpractices to warrant the cancellation of the election. So we are optimistic that we are going to win.
We preach peace, and we wanted that we have a smooth election, contrary to what the opposition expected. So we're not going to give anything a chance. I stood there, I was there, and I ensured I voted. So if they check, they will know that I voted in one place. And I'm here. And of course, before then, we had done the work. The work for election is not done in just one day.
One of the victims of the alleged security harassment during the election, Fatai Diekola, says only APC has the moral right to challenge the August 9 election, not the PDP. He also affirms that victory is sure for Aregbesola.
Let's say I'm here to give solidarity to my people. And in view of the unusual government we have in the federation, because you must shine your face in this system, that's why there is nothing that is impossible in Nigeria now. We have a very clear and clean election in Osogbo local government and Olonda local government. If we are to complain at all, APC should be the party to complain.
Nigerians, particularly the people of Osun, are anxiously awaiting what next. Rashid, CoreTV News.
The Senate has approved President Goodluck Jonathan's request for a $1 billion loan to tackle security challenges in the country. This was after an extensive debate on a report that outlined some of the operational needs of the Nigerian military. The Joint Committee revealed that the loan facility is in terms of upfront supply of military hardware, which would be paid for over a 7-year period. However, many senators, especially from the All Progressives Congress, insist that the arrangement is not tidy enough.
The request was first made in July but it was not until September that federal lawmakers began considering it. By then, Boko Haram insurgents had taken over some towns and villages in northeast Nigeria. The Joint Senate Committee on Thursday turned in a report that showed that Nigeria does not have enough helicopter gunships to battle the insurgents. It added that no new helicopter was bought since 1998 and that the military hardware Nigeria desires are to be paid for over a 7-year period.
These findings, in our opinion, some of them also are of security implications, but members can read them. But may I say that the equipment hardware covers helicopters, ships, armaments, and other hardware equipment. Therefore, it covers both land and sea security. The recommendation, in view of the Joint Committee's findings, the terms and conditions of the loan agreement, and the urgent need to restore full normalcy in the country, the Joint Committee recommends that the Senate approve the external loan in kind of $1 billion to tackle the ongoing security challenges.
This elicited some protests from opposition senators who wanted due process followed, but they were overruled by the majority.
Mr. President, this request, to the best of my ability and with the assistance of this Constitution, has consequences for the existing Appropriation Act. We do not question the right of Mr. President to ask for money or ask to borrow money, but there is a process that needs to be followed. And the provision of the Constitution for this process is what I just read. Mr. President,
in appealing that we do not go into any debate on this matter. And I'm so worried because of the character of the debate. I don't want a situation where we leave these chambers and the public will believe that one political party is supporting a fight against insurgents and another political party is not supporting it. That is so. I don't want any place. Yes, that's what's happening here. So that is serious. That is a serious situation. If the debate.
The Senate unanimously approved the request, with Senate President David Mark providing the last word on the issue.
Those in favor that the Senate approves the external loan in kind of $1 billion to tackle the ongoing security challenges in the Northeast, say aye. Against, say nay. The ayes have it.
With the Senate's decision to approve the request, the Nigerian authorities now wait for the House of Representatives' position before sealing the $1 billion arms purchase deal.
Adamawa State Chapter of the People's Democratic Party on Thursday accused the opposition, All Progressives Congress, of planning to rig the forthcoming governorship election in the state, which is a by-election. The declaration, which was made by the PDP state chairman, Joel Madaki, followed the observation by the party about the alleged reluctance of the APC to embark on political campaign. The ruling party claimed that the APC had instead engaged in campaigns of calumny against its candidate, Amadu Fintiri, who is also the state acting governor. The PDP state chairman said except the APC had something up its sleeves, which is possibly to rig the elections, it would not be hesitating to engage with the Adamawa state electorate. He therefore called on the APC not to challenge the outcome of the polls when the verdict is out with frivolous petitions, since it had failed to engage with the electorate fairly. Barely 1 week after the People's Democratic Party adopted President Goodluck Jonathan as its sole candidate for next year's election, a pro-Jonathan group wants other parties to tow a similar path. The governor, the Goodluck Initiative for Jonathan, made this demand at a news conference in Abuja. The group insists that Jonathan has done enough to deserve unanimous support from all registered political parties.
That we have gathered today to call on all political parties in Nigeria. We believe that if the president is doing well, we must support the president. This call is to every political party in Nigeria. We want them to sow the same seed the People's Democratic Party has shown, that President Goodluck Jonathan should be readily and easily adopted by all the political parties in Nigeria, because this will help in making sure that the huge resources that we've expended, especially with the primaries and the selection process and INEC, we can channel those resources to other pressing issues in Nigeria today. Because the moment every political party adopts President Goodluck Jonathan as the only candidate, I think Nigeria will begin to work as a peaceful nation once and for all, and the issues of sectionalism, religion will never come into our play again.
It's the CoreTV News at 7. We'll take a break and we'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes and bleeding from the eyes, ears and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Thank you for being there. A governorship aspirant on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, Seyi Makinde, has officially made known his intention to be the #1 citizen of Oyo State come 2015. Anita Fatunji was there and filed in this report.
Present at the campaign rally are prominent members of the People's Democratic Party in Oyo State. The governorship hopeful Seyi Makinde says he was motivated by the passion to transform Oyo State into one of the leading states in Nigeria.
I want to chart a new future, a future of hope and brightness, a future of joy, a future of prosperity. And the time for a positive change is now. I therefore stand before you to announce my candidacy for the position of governor of Oyo State.
His supporters says Makinde is the right person to effect the change in Oyo State.
He can do more than that, more than expected. He can be the president of this nation. If he comes to be a governor, there will be a lot of changes in this state.
Majority of the residents spoken to says they need a governor that is not controversial, but one who understands the plight of the people. Anita Fatunji, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, has in the last 25 years paid over 93 billion naira to Nigerians who lost money in failed banks. It also says about 81,000 verified depositors of 186 closed microfinance banks have received 2.7 billion naira as dividend. NDIC Managing Director Umar Ibrahim presented the figures at a press briefing in Abuja to mark the corporation's 25th anniversary.
I have various figures pertaining to liquidation activities, the amount of deposits we paid for the various deposit money banks. I said today we have paid 6.8 billion to over 500,000 insured depositors of the 48 banks, deposit money banks in liquidation. We have also, as you know, have a set of 186 microfinance banks that were closed down about 3 years ago. We paid over 2.7 billion the respect of over 80,000 depositors of those microfinance banks. And currently, we are in the process of paying the depositors of the latest set of microfinance banks in liquidation. I think about 86 or thereabouts of them. Generally speaking, the problems we always encounter in payment of insured and uninsured deposits is the fact that depositors do not easily come forward to file their claims.
We'll take another break now and we'll be back with a story outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thank you for being there. The U.S.-led coalition against Islamic State has targeted 12 oil refineries in Syria on a third night of airstrikes against the militants. Activists say raids carried out by U.S., Saudi and United Arab Emirates aircraft killed 14 of the group's fighters and 5 civilians in eastern Syria. According to the Pentagon, the refineries generated up to $2 million per day in revenue for the militants. In northern Syria, Kurdish forces say they have pushed back an IS advance. U.S. President Barack Obama has vowed to dismantle the IS network of death. And that's it on CoreTV News at 7. Join me again at 9:45 for the primetime news. Thank you for watching. I am Ebulomo Adikuli.